Most people believe a simple story about success. They believe that if they work hard enough, long enough, everything will eventually work out. They believe effort alone is the currency of achievement. Hours in, sweat out, results guaranteed. It sounds fair, it sounds comforting, and it is completely incomplete. Hard work by itself is not rare. Look around you. Millions of people wake up early, stay up late, exhaust their bodies and minds, and still remain stuck. They are not lazy. They are not weak. They are not stupid. Yet something is missing. And if you ignore that missing piece, hard work does not save you. It traps you. Ask yourself this quietly. If hard work alone was enough, why are so many of the hardest working people still struggling? Why do some people apply half the effort and get 10 times the result? Why does effort sometimes feel like running on a treadmill instead of moving forward? The myth is not that hard work is bad. The myth is that hard work is sufficient. It is not effort that changes your life. It is effort applied in the right direction at the right time with the right awareness. Hard work without clarity is like rowing with great strength but no compass. You move, you sweat, you tire, but you do not arrive. Success is not built only in visible moments. It is built in invisible ones. The hours nobody sees, the choices nobody applauds, the decisions that feel small in the moment but quietly shape your future. Think of success like the roots of a tree. You only admire the height because you cannot see the depth. But the depth came first. Most people only respect visible wins, the promotion, the launch, the applause. They ignore the invisible discipline that made those moments possible. The reading when others were scrolling, the practice when others were resting, the restraint when others were indulging. This invisible work is not glamorous. It is repetitive. It is lonely. And it is where most people quit. Imagine building a bridge across a river. You do not start by celebrating cars driving over it. You start by digging deep into the ground, placing foundations that nobody will ever see. If you rush that part, the bridge may look fine for a while, until pressure comes, until weight is added. Then it collapses. Your life is no different. The invisible work is what allows you to carry weight later. Responsibility, opportunity, growth. Without it, even good luck becomes dangerous. There is a principle that governs all meaningful progress. Preparation must meet opportunity. Opportunity visits everyone, but it stays only with the prepared. When opportunity arrives and you are not ready, it feels like bad luck. When you are ready and it arrives, it feels like destiny. You do not rise to the level of your hopes. You fall to the level of your preparation. This is not motivational language. This is law-like, predictable, reliable. If you want different outcomes, you need different preparation. Many people pray for opportunities they are not ready to handle. They want bigger roles without bigger skills, more money without more structure, more freedom without more discipline. When they get what they ask for, it overwhelms them, and then they call it failure. Pressure does not create character. It reveals patterns. Under pressure, you do not become someone new. You become more of who you already are. Look at an athlete in training. In practice, everything looks controlled, calm, clean, but under competition pressure, old habits appear, poor footwork, weak endurance, mental hesitation. Not because the pressure caused them, but because training failed to remove them. Or look at a professional at work. In normal weeks, they seem competent, but when deadlines tighten and stakes rise, you see the truth. Do they prioritize or panic? Do they simplify or scatter? Do they communicate or disappear? Pressure simply exposes what was rehearsed. This is why ignoring fundamentals is so dangerous. You can hide from reality in calm seasons. You cannot hide during storms. Focus is your most valuable asset, not time, not energy. Focus. You can waste time and recover. You can rest and regain energy. But unfocused years are rarely refunded. Distraction is not always noise. Sometimes it is opportunity without alignment. Saying yes to the wrong things steals more than saying no to the right ones. Every time you split your attention, you weaken your progress. Protect your focus like gold. Decide what matters before the world decides for you. If you do not set priorities, you will inherit someone else's agenda, and you will work very hard on goals that are not yours. Growth follows a sequence. Miss a step, and effort leaks away. First, you learn, not casually, intentionally. You study the principles. You understand the rules of the game you are playing. Many people skip this because learning feels slow, but ignorance is slower. Then you apply. Imperfectly, awkwardly, you move from theory to action. This is where fear appears. because application exposes gaps. But gaps are not failure, they're feedback. Then you evaluate. You step back and ask what worked and what did not. Most people avoid this step because it requires honesty. It requires admitting mistakes without excuses. Then you correct. You adjust strategy. You refine technique. You remove what does not serve progress. This is not dramatic, it is surgical. Then you persist, not blindly, but with adjustments, with patience, with humility. Persistence without correction is stubbornness. Correction without persistence is instability. You need both. Motivation is unreliable. Discipline is not. Motivation responds to mood. Discipline responds to decision. If you build your life on motivation, you will move only when you feel like it, and feelings are inconsistent. Systems beat moods always. A system does not ask how you feel. It tells you what to do. You wake up. You execute. You move forward on good days and bad ones. Strategic patience is the ability to respect time without wasting it. Everything has seasons. Planting, growing, harvesting, resting. Trying to harvest too early ruins the crop. Waiting too long lets it rot. One day of effort rarely changes a life. 1 year of aligned effort can. 1 decade of disciplined direction almost always does. Feedback is not criticism, it is guidance. Measurement is not judgment, it is navigation. If you do not measure progress, you cannot improve it. Guessing feels easier. Measuring is more effective. Momentum is built quietly. Small wins stack consistently. The flywheel turns slowly at first, almost imperceptibly. Then, with time, it accelerates. What once required force now requires guidance. Breakthrough is not a single moment, it is a lifestyle, a way of thinking, a standard you refuse to lower. When you align effort with clarity, discipline with patience, learning with correction, hard work stops being useless. It becomes powerful, and that is where most people miss it. They work hard, but they ignore alignment. They ignore fundamentals. They ignore focus. They ignore feedback, and they wonder why they feel exhausted instead of fulfilled. If you are willing to see clearly, to slow down before speeding up, to prepare before demanding results, then your hard work will finally have something to amplify. Not noise, not chaos, but direction. Because hard work is not the engine, it is the fuel. And fuel without a steering wheel does not take you anywhere. Fuel without a steering wheel only creates heat. It does not create progress. And many people are overheating their lives right now, burned out, frustrated, confused, not because they lack effort, but because they lack direction. Ask yourself something honestly. Are you tired because you are doing too much, or because you are doing too much of the wrong thing? Exhaustion is not always a sign of effort. Sometimes it is a signal of misalignment. When effort is aligned, work still feels demanding, but it feels meaningful. There is a quiet satisfaction even in fatigue. When effort is misaligned, even small tasks feel heavy. You procrastinate, you resist, you look for escape. Your mind knows something your habits are ignoring. Most people do not fail because they stop working. They fail because they keep working on outdated assumptions. They double down on methods that no longer serve them. They confuse persistence with progress. Not all persistence is noble. Some persistence is avoidance. Avoidance of learning something new. Avoidance of admitting a mistake. Avoidance of changing identity. It feels safer to keep pushing than to pause and reflect. But reflection is not weakness, it is calibration. There is a quiet law that governs growth. What you repeat, you reinforce. Every habit is a vote for the person you are becoming. Every decision trains your future reactions. This is why pressure reveals patterns. You do not rise under stress. You default. If you want a better default, you must build it intentionally, in calm moments, in boring moments, in moments that do not feel important. That is where character is trained. Many people wait for confidence before they act. That is backwards. Confidence is the result of kept promises to yourself, small ones, daily ones. Confidence grows when your actions match your intentions. If you tell yourself you will do something and you do not, you weaken trust with yourself. Over time, that internal trust erodes. You hesitate more, you doubt more, you rely on external validation. This is not a motivation problem. It is a credibility problem with yourself. Rebuild that credibility slowly. Choose fewer commitments. Keep them consistently. Let your self-respect catch up to your ambition. Focus is not just about attention, it is about subtraction, removing what does not matter, removing what drains you, removing what distracts you from your long-term direction. Every season of progress requires saying no to something appealing. Sometimes it is entertainment, sometimes it is social approval, sometimes it is easy money, sometimes it is comfort. Focus always costs something, but distraction costs more. You cannot build depth while chasing novelty. Depth requires staying with a skill, staying with a craft, staying with a direction long enough to see beneath the surface. Most people leave just before compounding begins. Learning is not consuming information, it is changing behavior. You do not learn by highlighting pages. You learn by testing ideas against reality. Reality gives honest feedback if you are willing to listen. Evaluation is uncomfortable because it removes excuses. It shows you where effort was wasted, but it also shows you where leverage exists, where small changes create big results. Correction is an act of intelligence. Not all mistakes require more effort. Some require a different approach. Some require slowing down. Some require asking for help. Pride blocks correction. Humility accelerates it. Persistence is staying after the excitement fades, after the audience leaves, after the results slow down. Persistence is quiet loyalty to a future you cannot yet see. This is where discipline matters more than motivation. Motivation is emotional. Discipline is structural. Discipline builds routines that carry you when motivation disappears. If your progress depends on how inspired you feel, you will progress inconsistently. If your progress depends on systems, you will progress predictably. Systems reduce decision fatigue. They remove negotiation. They turn effort into habit. You no longer ask if you will show up. You simply show up. Time is not your enemy. Impatience is. Time reveals quality. It exposes shortcuts. It rewards consistency. Strategic patience means working without demanding immediate proof. Seeds do not grow faster because you stare at them. They grow because conditions are right. Water, sunlight, soil, time. Your job is to create conditions, not force outcomes. Feedback loops are how conditions improve. Measure what matters, not vanity metrics, not comparison. Measure behaviors you can control. Hours practiced, skills improved, decisions refined. Momentum is fragile at the beginning. Protect it. Do not announce it too early. Do not compare it too often. Do not overload it with expectations. Let it build quietly. Compounding rewards consistency more than intensity. One extreme effort followed by long gaps produces little. Moderate effort repeated daily produces transformation. Breakthrough moments feel sudden to outsiders. They are not sudden to the person who prepared. They feel earned, familiar, almost inevitable. When effort aligns with direction, when discipline replaces mood, when patience replaces urgency, something shifts inside you. You stop chasing results. You start building capacity. And capacity changes everything. It attracts opportunity. It absorbs pressure. It sustains success. This is the difference between people who burn out and people who build lasting momentum. One relies on effort alone. The other relies on structure, clarity, and refinement. Hard work is not useless, but it is powerless without awareness, without focus, without correction, without patience. If you take nothing else from this, remember this: effort amplifies what already exists. If your direction is clear, effort accelerates success. If your direction is confused, effort accelerates exhaustion. So slow down enough to see clearly. Prepare deeply, focus deliberately, measure honestly, correct consistently, persist calmly. Do this, and your hard work will stop fighting against you. It will finally start working for you.